All right, here we are at number 2. So what do we have here? I want to know grams of S2Cl2. And I was given 16.3 grams here, and I was given 10.5 grams here. So which of those do I want to use? Again, this is your real world problem, and you want to come down here to the mole world down here. But remember, in the mole world with limiting reagent problems, you're going to have, you're going to use used, and you're going to have leftover. This way. Now again, if you prefer to just do the problem twice, then take the 16.3, turn it into moles, turn it into moles, turn it into grams, and get that number. Then go back and do the 10.5, turn it into moles, turn it into moles, turn it into grams, compare the two numbers. Whichever number is smaller, that's your answer. So if you want to be just kind of brute force towards these types of problems, you can do it that way. If you want to be a little bit more elegant and sophisticated about things, then you're going to have to look at it a different way. So I want to get from grams to moles here. I am going to ignore the fact that it's a 3, a 4, and a 1 for right now. I don't care about those. I want to get from grams to moles here. This stuff weighs 103.1. And this stuff here weighs 42 grams per mole. So if you do the math on that, you end up with 0.158 moles. That's there. And you end up with 0.25 moles. That is there. One of those two is going to be the limiting reagent. You are going to run out of one of them first. If you can do the math of that in your head, great, good for you. If not, you just got to pick one. And maybe I'm feeling the first one this time. So maybe I think this is going to be my limiting reagent. So I'm going to try to use up all 158 of this to be left with none. How do I check to see if I'm right? Well, I go over here by, again, a 4-to-3 ratio, just like I learned before. And when I do that, I end up with an answer of 0.211. Oh, I chose wisely when I did that. Why? Because if I take the 0.25 and subtract the 0.211 from that, I get a real world answer of 0.039 moles that are left over. And if I'd chosen poorly, then I would have ended up with a negative number and it wouldn't have worked. So great. I kind of don't care about have and left over anymore now that I have chosen poorly. I want to get over this away. So which of these numbers do I use? Doesn't matter. I can go from the 211 over here. I just have to make sure that I multiply it by 1/4. Or I can use the 158, and I can go over here. I just have to make sure that I multiply it by 1/3. Whether I take 1/4 of 211 or 1/3 of the 158, I should end up with an answer over here in moles of, give or take, 0.0527 moles. And now I want to come back up to the real world problem. And this stuff here weighs 135.2 grams per mole. And so you should end up somewhere in the vicinity of about 7.13 grams.